Hi there, this is Lawrence with Excello, and in this quick video we're just going to run through how to add a new user into your Excello deployment. So obviously every single company utilizing Excello has multiple employees who are in the system every day and using different aspects of the actual platform. And in order to get those users in and giving them access to be able to utilize the product to its full potential, they need to be added in as users in the Excello deployment itself. So as an example, let's say that we have a new manager at my company. His name is Nate Smith, and he's going to be utilizing Excello a lot, so we want to give him a user profile here in our deployment. So what I'm going to first do is, as you guys can see, I'm on my deployment in my stream here. I'm just going to navigate to the left-hand side and click on the configuration gear. Once on the general configuration page, I'm just going to, again, look at the left-hand side of the screen, click on the Users and Groups section, followed by the Users tab. This will bring me to my list users. So these are all the users who are in my Excello deployment at the moment. As you guys can see, Nate Smith is not currently in there as he was just hired. So I want to add him as a user in my deployment. So I'm just going to click the Add User button. Now, what it's going to do is just take you to a very simple add user screen. So as we can see, we're just going to begin inputting Nate's information to build out his profile. We'll also say he's a manager. An email is required, as when this particular employee actually receives the invitation, it's going to be via email. So we need to input some email here. In this case, I'm just going to use a sample email. If he has a phone number, I'm just going to put one there. Obviously, it is optional. However, you can put a phone, a fax, or a mobile number if you'd like to add a little more information on this person's profile. You can also put a position here. So as you guys can see, I'm just going to put manager. But if we had, a different position as opposed to their title, we can differentiate between the two here as well. We also have a managed by section. So if this wasn't a manager, let's say Nate was just a regular employee, then we could put who is actually managing Nate here as well. And then in the skill section, if there is a particular skill that we'd like to group Nate by, we could include that here as well. Maybe further down the road, we want to start organizing our users based on skill or searching for users based on skill, then that can come in handy there. Underneath that, you're going to see the default billable rate. So this is super important whenever you're creating project plans, whenever you're basically billing for time for your particular employee, in this case for Nate. So we want to set a default billable rate for Nate. In this case, we know he's a manager. Let's say he's actually working on project management. And we have a default of $150 for him as a billable rate. If we want to override that, and let's say Nate and project managers in general at our company are actually 170, we can actually override that in this right-hand box here. We can also set a default cost rate here as well, though I'm not going to set one for Nate in this case. We can also set a time zone. So let's say we have a base camp in San Francisco, but Nate is actually working out of Denver. We can set it so that his time zone will actually show Denver. And then we can also put a start and an end date. So let's say, for example, he began today, and obviously no end date at the moment because he is currently working for us. And then last but not least in this section, there is an invite user checkbox. The key of this is when checked, once this profile is complete and a username and password is set up, Nate will receive an email to the email that we said above saying, here's a link to utilize Excello. Another section is your email sending section. So pretty self-explanatory here. Basically what this is going to it's going to show what the user's email address is going to look like when sending an email. So in this case, we could say the user's own email address, so the one that we put above. We can say using a specific address for that activity. So, if you're going to send an activity email using a special Excello email address, or you can use a specific email alias, which you can actually put below here. And then last but not least, the user access section. So this is where you would input the user's username. So in this case, Nate would have a username. Let's just say Nate. And a password that Nate would use to actually log into Excello. Another piece, and a super important piece here, is the financial visibility section. So if Nate has the ability to see costs and to see project budgets and stuff like that, you would want to give him financial visibility. Otherwise, we only want him to view hours only. So in this case, we're not going to give him financial visibility. We want him to only see certain things not related to financials for the company. And then finally, if we want to put him in a specific group, we can do that here. If we want to make him a specific access level, so admin, professional, contractor, collaborator, in this case, we'll just keep him as a professional. And then the status, we could say if this particular user is active or inactive, he's working for us now, so we'll just click active. Once everything looks the way you want it to, just hit the save button. It's just going to give you a little notification just in case. And then once it's completed, it's just going to simply take you to your user permissions page where you will be able to make all the permissions needed for this particular user's profile. As always, if you have any further questions, be sure to email us at support@excello.com. Thanks so much for watching.